Hi, Marilyn.
Hey Dave. Hi.
Hi. Um, we thought we'd just do a little introduction to this episode that's coming up because actually we recorded it in the car. So when you came over here, Marilyn, that's right, isn't it? It was one of these car recordings.
Yes. Very impromptu.
Yeah, we're driving up the east coast of Australia and we had an idea to talk about something, so we just got out the phone and recorded this.
Yeah. And then we thought, why not share it also, right?
Yeah, we thought, why not share it?
Yeah.
But then I've I've been trying to do the editing for these episodes, and it was a really hard one to edit because I had a lot of road noise, car
Yeah.
noise, road noise. So,
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
pardon?
So thank you for doing that.
Oh, do my best. I work. I just keep on throwing it back to AI, and I say, what do you think I can do now? What setting can I do now to make it better? Um, So yeah, so that's it. It was when you came over here for 3 weeks, Marilyn, wasn't it? About 2 months ago now.
Yeah, it was a few months ago and we were driving back to Sydney from the hinterlands of Byron Bay, where we went to
Wow,
visit
that's
a
very good
friend.
with your geography, Marilyn.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm paying attention sometimes. Uh, So yeah, I think actually when we did that recording or when we were having that conversation, I kind of feel like we were getting closer to Sydney. We had been on the road together for like, maybe 7 hours or something. And we talked
Oh,
about a lot of different topics, but it was the windows were down, then the windows were up and the windows were down. So it would was very difficult for us to have had like a
there was a
long
kangaroo in the
conversation.
back seat, and it was difficult.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was one where I think we did the best we could to contain the sound, but it's not going to be the best sound. So apologies for that. But thank you, Dave, for trying your very, very, very best to get it
And
to
thank
sound
you,
nice.
AI, for helping me.
Thank you, AI, for helping us with so many things. And yeah, so I think we'll go ahead and play it and yeah, hope you guys just enjoy or maybe you'll resonate with some of the things we're talking about.
And if
Yeah.
you say, I can't listen to this, it's
Yes,
too much
exactly.
like I'm in a car, that's okay as well.
Yeah, we totally understand. We appreciate you trying. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
here it
let it
is.
roll.
Let it
Thank you.
flow. Thanks.
Topic about what is the soul. Well, what is the soul to you?
Well, I think why I started thinking about it was maybe a couple of conversations we'd had. But it was sort of like because of like the conversation I had with my father, you know, that I had through Numa,
Through a medium,
through a medium.
kind of a medium, yeah.
Yeah, after because my father had passed away a long time ago, and he actually started to use this expression like that in his life he had sort of lost his way because he was separated from his, I think he said, his true nature.
Yeah.
So it made me think, just, is his true nature his soul? And also then, if we are, say, living a life of feeling disconnected, separated, suffering, whatever, where is our soul? Where is it? Is it assisting us, or like what's our relationship with it?
Yeah.
This made me think about that, and is like, I don't know, just many other thoughts like, is a human conditional process? Do we have to lose our way, lose our soul. There's even that expression, I think, I don't know where it comes from, of lost souls. You know, people who, we just saw a bit of dead wildlife on the side of the road. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a topic that isn't. I mean, maybe it's discussed in different places or different forums, but yeah, it's not an everyday conversation about what is the soul and where is it and where does it reside? Does it reside somewhere inside of our body? Is it outside of our body? What is it? Yeah, we lose our way. But I mean, you know, I guess in a way, if you think about losing your way, let's just say you've lost your way. But that's almost like a human conceived idea of losing your way, because there's never such a thing really as losing your way. If you're still living and in your body, then you're still here. You're still in this reality, existing in this plane, in this realm in a way, and participating in the experience.
Yeah.
Or having the experience. So yeah, like you were talking about words, you know, when you talked about that language doesn't necessarily describe things fully or help us understand things fully, but it's a gateway. Like when we use language, it allows us to maybe then go deeper into things. But like you said, and it's true, you know, like you were just saying a moment ago, if someone says something to you and you don't question it, then it just is what that person said, or it just stays in one state. But if you ask the person to elaborate more, what did you mean by that? Can you describe more how you feel about what you just said? Then it opens up a whole different world. But there has to be that inquiry in a way.
It happened with, we were just staying with some friends, and they have a sort of French background, and I did something, and the lady said, "Oh, no. And, you know, like, from my upbringing from England, that would be, oh, did I do something wrong? You know, but then she probably saw my reaction, so she elaborated without me even asking her. She said, "Oh, in French that doesn't mean like no bad. It's more like an expression." But like, I was like, so all I could do initially was understand what she said in my world, you know.
That maybe wants to defend, or to protect, and sometimes even attack back.
Yeah.
Even though a person is just expressing themselves in their way of expressing themselves. So it's interesting how we just, it really is quite amazing. I mean, even just the way we've civilized the world, you know, we've found a way to become so civilized in some ways. You know, we're on a very civilized road right now. This could be a dirt road. We could be actually driving in the bush.
Oh, we're on a freeway.
We're on a freeway that's very well paved and very well, you know, structured.
Yeah.
And in a way, we've found a way to do that with the way we interact with one another also. You know, we found ways to structure the way we interact with each other.
Oh yeah, like a freeway.
Like a freeway. Like, in a way, if someone says something to you, for example, and you don't really like it, or you perceive it as not so good or negative, then maybe the mind has is so structured in a way, so it calculates so well. It calculates survival so well that it'll calculate how I'm going to respond to this person to get the outcome that I need, which is usually safety. So if I want to still feel safe in this environment with this person who said something to me that I didn't like, I'm going to respond to them in a certain way.
Can you give an example?
Well, I guess if someone says something to, like, for example, if I did something and someone said to me, no, don't do it that way, you know, and I go, I will calculate, like, if it's my family, I'll usually push back because that's what family does, because you know that they'll still, there's something in us that knows that that person will accept us the way we are.
Yeah.
So we might push back. We might go, what do you mean? Let me do things my way. Don't tell me how to do things, you know.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's a coworker. It's someone you need to keep on good terms with because you're at work, or it's your boss.
Yeah.
Then you're going to answer in a different way. You're going to say, "Oh, yeah, you might defend yourself, but in a structured way." Maybe.
Yeah.
In a kind of in a way that will allow you to keep on going, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because and like even in a family, I know in my family, my father was very dominant and powerful, and when he said something, I didn't feel I had a choice. You know, I didn't know how to push back or discuss and say, "Oh, Dad, you know, I've got these ideas," but I would just go along with it. So I didn't feel I had a choice, I didn't think.
But you probably did push back because your mind was structured in such a way that it knew that if you did push back, there were consequences that would make you feel unsafe.
Yeah, I think that's true.
In a way, was it that?
It's true. It's probably that's the I think what you're saying is like that's the foundation of it, but the first level probably is, you know, that's how I noticed things were in the family, because I was the youngest kid, so, you know, I would see him talk to my elder sisters, and I would say, well, this is just the way things are, this is what I've learned, you know.
Yeah.
I was in a bubble in the family, I guess. This is the way my family does it.
Yeah.
So
it seemed normal.
It seemed normal, even though I didn't like it. I didn't know how to be another way. There was no reference, you know, no alternative, you know, because I hadn't lived in another family to see, you know, someone else doing something different.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you meet another family who maybe is like completely different, where they argue in the family but still love each other and, you know, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that even existed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But they're safe, you know. And I think that what you're talking about was so deeply ingrained with me. For instance, it's been very much in my life, say in a romantic relationship with a partner or something, that I was very scared of arguments, because I thought, you know, like you know, if she really is angry with me, like that'll be the end. It's the end of the relationship, you know, and that feels unsafe. You know, there's a safety in relationship or something. So I felt unsafe, but then gradually I would, sometimes the partners I had, they would say to me, look, they'd be pissed off with me, but then the next day they might say something like, oh, it's so good that you allowed me to say it. You know, I just feel so much better now, so thank you. And I go, really? You know, you're not angry with me? No, I just needed to get it out. You know?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, so
it's okay.
The container's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not broken. In fact, you know,
I trust you more now.
I trust you more now. Or so it was my. I had a Chinese girlfriend for quite a long time, and it took me a few years to realize that that's what she was saying to me. She was saying, like, because she actually got angry with me when she was angry with me and telling me what she didn't like about me. If I felt so awful, then I would run away. You know, I'd actually leave her, you know, like go out for a walk, or I couldn't stand the criticisms. And then gradually she told me, that's what annoys me. all you have to do is stand there, let me express it, and then it's okay. You know, our relationship's fine. It's even better then, but don't run away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's amazing. And what the hell were we talking about? I forgot. We were talking.
We started with the soul, but now we're going to.
I'm lost.
Well, that's
And I'm driving.
that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these are topics of being human. You know.
Yeah. Don't tell the cops what I think I went too fast back then. I was getting excited in the conversation.
You went 15 over the limit.
Yeah, so you got
New Italy Road.
to look after me.
Okay. Dave, you're okay, you're better now. I was going to tell you you're 2 over the limit. You just told me to look after you, so
Look after us.
stay under 100 if you can. Anyway, yeah. Well, let's see how our topics can evolve through things that come up for us. We'll see.
Yeah. I can say something. Can I say something more about?
Oh, you wanna talk more?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but this idea of the soul. Do you know where it comes from? Yeah, but I don't have very much idea where the idea of the soul comes
The
from.
original discussion about the soul, or inquiry about the soul.
Yeah, like
What do you
maybe in humanity where this idea originates from. I don't know.
I don't know, but I think it goes pretty far back. I did some research on it many years ago. I can't remember, but I know it came, for some reason, the thought of Greece,
Oh, Greece.
the ancient Greeks talked about it. And I guess, if you think that every human is in a way a messenger or channeling or like a vessel or a conduit for information,
Yeah.
right? So I guess maybe someone started talking about something called the soul, and then it caught on because it was something that maybe it's a truth.
Yeah.
It's a collective truth, maybe.
Yeah.
That's why it then it resonated with so many people, and maybe that's where the inquiry grew in a way. I don't know, I'm not sure. We can look at it, but just without going back in the past and just seeing how we resonate with that word and what it means to us, we can expand from there, right?
Do you resonate with that one?
I guess yeah, it does feel familiar, the word. But again, maybe it can just be from what I've experienced in my life,
Yeah.
of hearing it talked about, you know? Well, so you just basically pulled over really quickly for a minute there and bolted out of the car to relieve yourself, is what they used to call it.
Well, we can call it that now.
You had to pee, and we were going on the road quickly. I thought maybe you were letting someone go by who was following you too closely behind. And so now that we're clear that you had to pee urgently, and we've gotten back on the road, and you have some thoughts to continue what we were talking about.
Some pea thoughts, yeah. Now I'm just thinking about how to even locate, like if we had a soul, if I had a soul, if you had a soul,
Yeah.
what is our experience of that? It's like when talking to my deceased father through a medium, we're sort of talking about his distortions, his like his distortions, or his, I think another word that came up was dissonance, or this. So these are like his normal, like anger and all this sort of stuff. But his true nature, he felt that he was separated from, was not to be like that, was to be loving or kind or compassionate. But he wasn't able to do that. But he called that his true essence. So it's interesting because it's almost like, I just put the thought out there, it's just like, it's almost like there are different levels to us. There's a distorted level, maybe, which is on the surface. But I think for me, and maybe other people in their life, they go on this sort of journey to try and find themselves in a way.
What does that mean? Well, first of all, what do you mean when you say distorted? What does that mean, distorted and dissonant? Because that could mean a lot of things to a lot of people. That it can sound vague if you don't really go into, like when you talk about your father and what came through the medium is that he felt distorted. What does that mean?
We can both share, but it's like in the normal sense of the word, it's like something very messy, chaotic, distorted. It's not harmonious.
Not harmonious.
So you might can we think of examples just for normal life? Like, what would we describe as distorted? It's normally something that's chaotic. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, sometimes light can feel very distorted for me. Like lots of different lights or something. It's like, I feel like a distortion. But I think for me it's mainly a chaotic feeling. When I feel it's very chaotic.
Not at peace?
Not at peace.
Just not at peace?
But another thing is, like, sometimes I have blamed people. I think that I might say to them, wow, that's so distorted what you're saying. It's not the truth. So there's something about, for me, there's something about, just going past a cyclist on a freeway, which is sort of dangerous. I'm feeling that you haven't told the truth. What you're saying is very distorted. You're distorting the facts. Like blaming someone because maybe they want to get their own way in a situation. So you're not telling the truth. You're distorting things.
Okay.
And I think other people have blamed me for doing that as well. And for me, now I would say, yeah, they were right. I was. I feel I was. I feel like most of my life I've been trying to achieve something to feel alive or feel I was getting somewhere. I was, confirming who I was, or getting safety or something.
Yeah.
But it was distorted. It wasn't truthful, and it definitely wasn't honouring all the people involved. It was trying to honour me only,
Yeah.
And I could justify it. I could say, I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for, earn money to pay the bills or something like that. But it was a distortion. It wasn't the truth. It was to put like a work colleague down, or trying to get a promotion, or something like that. Maybe I would justify it in my mind, or to myself, or to other people. But it definitely wasn't the truth. And it's very interesting that when I was writing a book about me and my father, because when discussing this, say with the medium helped me Numa, or even discussing it with AI, the word dissonance came up a lot. So in the end, I just started asking the question, like, what is the relationship between truth and dissonance, or like truth and distortion? There seems to be a relationship between the two. And like, therefore, what is truth? What really is truth? Is there a universal truth that we'd all say, that's the truth,
Yeah.
We'd all feel it, and how do you know when something, even individually, how do you know when something is true? How do you know it?
Maybe maybe it's a feeling.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe it's a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe truth is not something that can be put into words, because words were probably the first thing that started to create distortion.
Wow, that is very powerful what you just said.
Well, if you think about it, the moment words were invented, words give shape to things. Words are a formation of information. It's a formation,
Yeah.
right? It's putting form to something. So imagine that whoever formed language, whoever formed a word, let's just say a bird, before having the word bird, it was energy. A bird was just energetic.
Yeah.
And then we started to name it. We called it bird. We called this flying thing, this flying energy, this flying formation of energy, bird.
Yeah.
And then it starts to have this influence. We start to then influence that a bird is this. And then later on, we give a word and a name to this certain type of bird.
Yeah.
The magpie bird. This is what the magpie bird looks like. This is what it does. This is its mating call, and we give it more and more and more form. But before that, it was just energy. And this is what we've done to everything in life. We've given words and then given more meaning and more meaning and more meaning through more description and more description. And this is maybe what you're talking about when you say distortion. Is the more we put onto something, the more meaning and value we give to things, the more distorted it becomes, because we're taking away from its very essence.
That's fantastic what you just said. I was going to high five you. That's so wonderful what you said.
Well, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. It's just coming to me. It's just coming through me. It's something that's coming through me. I don't, I think what we're not right now, what's coming up for us is how do we know something is true? How do we know something's pure? Do we even know what purity is? We've been so distorted. We come from so much distortion, meaning how we're raised, how we're brought up, the influence of that we've been raised on or raised with has created so much distortion. So like you said, how do you know something is true? How do we know what purity is?
Wow.
When we come from so much distortion, but then if we go all the way back and think about what is our origin, our essence, the source of what we are, this is where we can find purity. This is where the truth really lies. The truth lies in the source, the origin of things. And this is really beautiful that we, my friend who we just visited on a farm near Byron Bay, this is what she was talking about. This is something that she feels very strongly about, is her feeling to go to the source of things and to be surrounded by things that come from the source.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. You know how she was talking about art?
Yeah.
How she feels. She can feel that art. Like she feels drawn to art that has a purity at its source, and art that, this was my understanding at least from what she was sharing,
Yeah.
that if the art carries a lot of distortion, she can feel that also.
Yeah.
She can feel that, and I believe that to be true because it's true. We are energetic, so we will feel if something carries a lot of distortion. We're going to feel it, and for people who have a high sensitivity to distortion, they will sense that very, very clearly. And I think in a way, some empaths, people who are very strong empaths, I will actually say my mother is a very sensitive empath. She can feel distortion quite strongly, very quickly. And some people might perceive that as her being very, for example, isolating herself from the world
Yeah.
and isolating herself from other people.
Yeah.
But what I think it is, really, is a high sensitivity to distortion. I think that's what it is.
You mean she would isolate herself because she feels distortion in so much of the world or something?
She feels distortion very strongly.
Yeah.
She has a high sensitivity to anything that carries distortion, whether it's people or environment, food,
Yeah.
anything actually.
Yeah.
And but in this world, she is perceived as being someone who's maybe very particular,
Yeah.
maybe very picky,
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you started talking about purity a few moments ago, what came to my mind was like often something we talk about sometimes, the purity of water. Oh, water's not pure. Don't drink that, or something like that. And I was thinking, well, it's because there is maybe dirty or they're additives or they're chemicals or something like that. But then I was thinking of if we take all those chemicals out on, if the water's so-called pure, like water is H2O. Right, that's the formula. So I was thinking, well, hang on, is that a distortion? Is that impure because it's hydrogen and it's oxygen. So it's already two things together. Is that a distortion? Like, what's really pure H2O? Is it O? Is it H? And even H, if that's an element. But then, hang on, elements are made of particles or waves or something. So is that a distortion? What happens when you go a step lower? What's really the purity? So is only the beginning, the source. I'm just, as you said, I didn't intend to say this, it's just coming out of my mouth. Is only the source, the essence, pure, and everything else of this whole world, this whole universe, is distortion.
Well, isn't it?
And then why?
And then why? Well,
Why?
because it
Why
doesn't.
is that needed?
Maybe it's what we talk about often. It's like consciousness, just in a constant state of evolvement to
Yeah.
understand itself. It's in a constant state of needing to recognize itself, so it splits into different versions of itself to understand itself. But is that the
Yeah.
distortion, or what we are feeling or sensing as distortion?
Yeah.
Is so the purity is what we perceive or think or feel as one thing, like oneness, what we call oneness.
Yeah.
It's when it's in a state of togetherness,
Yeah.
and then anything that begins to separate feels like a distortion. But can distortion just be consciousness or the source splitting itself off, separating itself into all these different mirrors, basically?
Yeah.
Because what it is it's a way for it to reflect itself back to itself.
Yeah. It's true.
In a way. So again, always going back to the idea that nothing's right or wrong,
Yeah.
because right or wrong is a perception. It's a human conceived perception that there is right and wrong, when in fact what it is, it's different aspects of the same thing.
So it's like even thinking distortion is right or wrong is like a trap, because distortion is just a way of like revealing something or experiencing something.
Yeah. It's just a misunderstanding
Yeah.
of what's really happening.
It's funny because as you were talking, I was thinking that I suddenly thought of like, let's take us for example, keep it simple, and we'll keep it more tangible in our faces, maybe, and then maybe more confronting. So, because we're in this car together, so it's like, I think when you've been sort of like troubled, right? Someone's been troubling you, because you're in Los Angeles, I'm in Sydney, you say.
Australia, yeah.
Australia, not Sydney,
Sydney.
Canada.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many Los Angeles there are around the world. And then
There are more than one actually, but
there are?
I think there's another place in the world called Los Angeles, but we'll go into that later.
We'll move on. That'll be the next podcast. So you're in LA, I'm in Sydney, Australia, and then, because everyone knows where LA is,
Yeah.
that you've been troubled, right? And there's stages of how I react to that. Like sometimes, you feel maybe like, don't even want to be here anymore. It's so,
Yeah.
I'm suffering so much, or I feel so, not so great. Why am I here? Like, what's the point of all this?
Yeah.
And then I think there's stages I go through. So first of all, I think when you even say those things to me, it feels like the distortion is clearing. I don't know, because you can even question your own existence. And I think sometimes I feel, like, how can I put it? It's very hard. This is where language, I struggle with language, because I feel like, if I use that as word, it could get misinterpreted. But there's like even a beauty in you saying that,
Yeah.
questioning that. It's got a beauty to it, even though there's part of me that says like, don't go, but then like, don't leave this physical body. But it's like there's something respect for your journey. But then
Yeah.
as you get maybe more clarity, right, on your situation, and then you might reflect on it after a few days and say, well, when I was going through that, this was happening for me. Now I can, you sometimes reflect back and you say, the last few days this has been happening to me, and
Yeah.
you get some clarity.
Yeah.
It's that there's those moments, I think, I feel very much at one with you. It's like when you have that truth about yourself, I could say. I don't know what it is. Then I feel maybe love flows more powerfully. I feel more love for you, or something like that. I can't put it into words, but it's like when the clarity happens, distortion maybe it's like fades away. You have that clarity. It's like, wow. Then, oh my God, I love you. It's that feeling. So. See, I feel a bit risky saying this, but it's like I feel more love then. It's like, but then it sort of flows then.
What flows? What do you mean?
Uh,
Like love flows more easily after that, or?
yeah, I feel like in peace. Maybe I'm even like using the. Here we go with language. Maybe it's not even the right word. It's like a peace,
Yeah.
a different type of beauty, like a calm lake, or like a sunrise, or something like that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's much bigger. It's like, suddenly it's huge.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. So we're going to interrupt what Dave was ending with there just for a moment, because we had to actually leave the car. We were at the end of our road trip, so we ended that recording abruptly at that time. But we would love to pick up that topic once again and continue here if everyone's okay with that. So we are going to now try to pick up where we left off. And Dave was talking about, if I recall, Dave, you were talking about that you were giving the example of when I'm going through a difficult time, a very profoundly difficult time where I'm questioning my existence, my place here as a human being, and not understanding exactly what's happening, but I'm just having a lot of emotion and things feel very difficult. And that when I seem to come out of that feeling and have some clarity, as a result of having gone into like a very deep state of suffering, it seems to evoke some feeling of love from you, or like you were saying at the end there, peace. You said it's almost like, I think you used an example of like almost like how you would feel watching a sunset.
Mm.
Am I understanding correctly? Is that kind of what you were talking about, or would you like to add some more in there?
Um, yeah, I think how can I put it? You don't have to have clarity. Like you don't have to be like, because often I think for me, I get clarity sometimes when I'm looking back on it, a few days later, if something happens to me. But it's just sometimes, you'll go through a stage, and I think it's maybe common for a lot of people, like you can't talk to anyone for a while because it's so overwhelming, and there's no point talking because you got nothing to say because you can't put any words to the experience, maybe something like that. But then there's a moment where you say come back and you sort of maybe start talking, but maybe you haven't got clarity yet, but you're starting to express yourself. So it's those sort of moments. It feels it's strange because it gives me a sense of stability. So it sounds odd because it might be that things are very tumultuous for you, but your truthfulness is is giving a sense of stableness and connection and expansiveness, like because it's like it's almost like we live a lot of our lives on the surface, maybe, and not going into our depths. But when you are connected to your depths, maybe, but it's very confusing and tumultuous or something or unknown. When you start to talk about it, it's almost like a bolt of lightning. It's like suddenly, kapow, I've connected through you to that or something. And that seems really big, like expansive. What that feeling I get. It's like, and it's like, I hope I'm making sense, but it's like being connected to something that's sort of unknown, but sort of that you become in touch with. And because you're communicating it with me as best you can, it's like it allows me to feel it as well, whatever it is. It's very interesting. I haven't really put this into words before. Um, it's something like that.
I see. I guess what comes to mind is,
Can you hear the kookaburras?
you know, the out the
They're
window.
outside the door. The door's open here in the kitchen, and I'll close it
They're
because
so
I can't hear because I can hear the kookaburras.
they're so cute. I
We'll
just
need, we'll
want
need
to
to put a photo of a kookaburra now into the.
snuggle with them. They're so cute.
You want to cuddle one?
Yeah, I would love that, but
Mm.
they wouldn't allow it. I tried to get close to a few of them there, remember?
Yeah, I thought that
They're not
they're
very
very,
cuddly.
but there are people who do have them as pets here in Australia, and some people do. They
No
will
way.
allow them to cuddle them. Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty rare. Now the cat wants to go out. It's not, animal activity going on here underneath. You can't see it. It's all underneath.
How you just appear and disappear on the screen.
I know my AI background.
It looks very real.
Yeah. Yeah, yours does as well.
And you match it well. Yeah, no, my AI background is like super intricate. Look at this beautiful print that oh no, the other side that it has created.
I know it's weird. Because Zoom turns us around and then we don't know what direction we're facing.
I don't know where I
You got dragons there. Anyway, we were in touch with something, so we better try and get back to it anyway.
stick with the program. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it's a very profound topic. I think it's yeah, I think that's something that we could go into a whole episode on for sure. When we go into the depths of something emotionally, existentially, that is almost literally impossible to put into words. And you're
Yeah.
right, I can't communicate with you very much. This has happened many, many times between us where I just say to you, I just need some time because I just can't communicate. And it's true that I do minimize my communication as much as possible. I mean, I still go to work where I have to communicate with a lot of people, and with my mom, so I communicate with her, and there's a few people that I kind of, just because of practical reasons, I have to communicate. So then all of the additional communication, I just really minimize it because it becomes really overwhelming for me. And the process in itself is very complex and, like you said, confusing, because I think what's really happening at a cellular level is that something within me is changing. And it's something that I don't even think words exist to describe the changes that the body is going through on a cellular level. So it's a difficult time because it's I was going to say unfamiliar, but I just have this feeling that in a way every phenomena happening to us in some way has to be familiar because it's been happening for billions of years. What we're made up of. But maybe the experience as a human is unfamiliar as a human.
Yeah.
Because if we're constantly evolving and changing and life after life after life, every time we come back in a different form or body or person, if we come back to evolve, that means that everything that happens every second of every moment of every day is different. Nothing's redundant. It has to be. If everything's evolving and expanding, then in a way, nothing could be like a repetition. It's always something new. So I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
So maybe that's why it feels very confusing, because there's a part of me that feels like it's familiar, like, oh, I've been through this hell right before. I've been through this psychological and emotional hell. But I know I'll get out of it in a few days. I know it might take a few hours, a few days, before it used to take weeks and months to get out of it. And it takes days for me to get out of it usually, or to find some clarity, I would say. But still, there's still this feeling of like, I don't want this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So, but with what you just described about the feeling that it gives you, once I start to come back a little bit, come back online in a way, I kind of feel that the reason you may be feeling that is because I think since we know we all come from one source of energy, and so we're all connected. We know that. Some people feel it less than others, but you and I understand and feel very strongly that the connection that we all have, and that the connection, of course, is much stronger with people we interact with more regularly, for example, or that especially the fact that you and I have really, most of our relationship has involved understanding ourselves, understanding life, understanding why we're, understanding the mechanism of this whole reality. So I think that you and I have a very special connection in terms of that seeking to understand, to self-understand. So in a way, it's almost like I feel that because of that, when I go through a moment of like of existentialism, but then I start to come out of it, it is a little bit like a sunrise or a sunset. It's like it's majestic because you're like, wow,
What a word.
you know, like, you're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. You're seeing something that
Yeah.
is so majestic, but it's beyond words. But you
Yeah.
just know how it makes you feel. It just
Yeah.
makes you feel like you are at one with the universe. And that's what it feels like when maybe when I come out of these states, even though I still don't have the clarity, but the feeling is of the feeling is something like this is going to sound funny. It's just a feeling of like it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay, whatever it is.
Wow.
I don't know if that all makes sense or not, but
It makes sense for me, but I was just thinking, I wonder where that comes from, that feeling.
which one?
It's going to be okay.
Maybe it comes from the natural cycle of life itself. The cycle of life is that everything is in its perfect place, in its perfect order. Maybe it's a feeling of that, of surrender. I think the feeling of it's going to be okay is the part within me that finally surrenders to what is and doesn't try to fight what's happening, doesn't try to run away from it, doesn't try to like evade it, protect myself from it. No, it's like surrender, total surrender, like almost like take me if you need to, take me because I'm realizing that it's the resistance that causes the suffering in itself. Suffering comes from resisting what is.
Yeah.
And in all cases of suffering, that's how I really feel. You know?
Yeah.
So,
That's,
so
thank you. Because it's,
yeah.
I feel like maybe not to talk too much about this because it feels a little bit precious what you're saying, just to be with that preciousness. Anything I was thinking of was that it's almost the way you describe this, it's going to be okay in the light sort of thing in the darkness. It's almost the feeling I get is like you're in touch with something in the future, like it's going to be okay in the future or something.
Isn't past, present, future all one thing anyway? I mean, I don't mean that in a very like we live in different dimensions at the same time, but I mean, if you think about it, it's like that again, who made up the concept of time? It was a human made concept for us to differentiate the past with the present and the future. And I just feel like it's all one thing. It's all one thing. That's how I feel. And I understand that not everybody feels that way. I get that.
No, it's your feeling.
My
It's your
feeling.
feeling. And it's really interesting because just my sensational sort of my experience when you say that is to feel that at the moment. Like if I feel it, when once the moment you say that, I get this sense of past, present, future. Not, it's not like being the same thing, but being like a not in compartments, you know, because we tend, I think, as humans to put things in compartments like, oh, there's a future, there's a present, there's a past, or something like that. It feels to me like it's all one. It's like,
Yeah,
but it's different stages, maybe, of the same thing,
yeah.
something like that.
Kind of like, kind of like if you take a ball of thread, if you undo the whole ball at every state and you look at the different parts of the thread,
Mm,
it's still all coming from the same thread.
yeah,
You know, it might look like you're cutting, like you're looking at this part of the thread. Maybe you look at the beginning or the middle or the end, but it's still all coming from the same thread.
that's right. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's interesting when with this topic and it, you know, I can imagine everybody has such a different experience of existentialism and where their mind goes and how they perceive it because we all have our different, for lack of a better word, karma. We're all at different stages and levels in our life. And so it's going to be a very different experience for each person who goes through those moments of really kind of like very profound questioning. Why am I here? What am I doing here? You know, and it's not even about purpose. It's not even about having a purpose of like, what am I meant to do here? I can just say for myself, I don't, that question comes up once in a while, and then I go, no, 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 that's not what this is about. This isn't
I
about having
know.
to do.
Um,
This is about something that's moving through you while you're here.
yeah.
And what is that? That's what I want to know. I want to know what is it and how can I learn to communicate with it. That's why I'm reading a book on how to just how to communicate with different aspects of ourselves.
Mm,
Because I think that's what it is. The intelligence and the knowing is within us. We carry the same spark that creates universes.
mm,
We are made of the same light, the same electrical light that makes up entire universes. How could we not have the intelligence of the universe within us? How could we
mm,
not? Of course it's there. The question
mm.
is, how do we find it? Because maybe that's one of the kind of like that's one of the kinks in the game is that we're going to come in with no memory of what we are. And so we're kind of going to be doing like a cat and mouse thing for a while and,
Mm,
you know, going down the rabbit hole and asking
mm,
questions. Some people will, again, depending on where they're at in their evolutionary um, journey,
mm,
some people will be start asking questions and start seeking to understand what they are, who they are, what they are. But again, I don't think it's to do with purpose. It's for me, it's not a purpose thing. It's more of an understanding like what is it? What are you? What
What's your
what's
design?
what's my design? What yeah, like wait, okay, I came here in this body and I have this personality and I have this name and I live at this place and so what is this all about? Tell me.
I suppose, I don't know, sometimes I think there's a sort of simple way to find out. It's just to see what you're being asked to do.
Yeah, exactly. Or what
And
you feel drawn to, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of, yeah, maybe it's a combination of both, what you're drawn to or because the trouble with what I mean for me, the trouble with me when what I was drawn to, I was drawn to things which is going to sound silly this, but really they weren't me. There was like they were like an image of what I thought I should be, you
Yeah.
know, like thinking I should be a successful businessman, but that wasn't my thing. But I used to see other successful businessmen and think, oh, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me. You know, it was maybe my jealousy or my insecurity or something, but it wasn't finding my essence.
Mm.
Um,
I have a
but
different perspective on that, though.
pardon?
I have a different perspective on that.
Oh, good. Good. So that's interesting. Yeah, and if we think just for a moment, if we think about when we started this conversation again, you know, after the car recording,
Hmm.
and we're talking about going through difficult times when we can't express or we don't know, maybe we don't even we have a sense I don't even know who I am, sort of thing. I've had a few of these in the last 2 years since I returned from China to Australia, and it's like what I think I'm. I'm just trying to be okay with the not knowing, because getting a sense now in that not knowing, in that confusion, it's like that's where something new can start, or I can find out something more about myself. But I think in the past, I had too much. If I go back, 20 years or something, or 30 years, I had too much anxiety. Like I had to be sure about things. Being confused or not knowing was like too, I couldn't handle that. I always wanted to have this sort of surety. So maybe having a regular job or, having success or achieving things gave me a sense of certainty or something. But I wasn't able to get in touch with or allow myself to get in touch with like almost like a creativity, almost like it's like creativity comes from maybe if you think of the word, it's like something new, it's creation. So it's being comfortable with the feeling of I've got no idea what's going on feeling. Um, so
Well,
I get that a bit these days. I get like, what am I doing today? I got no idea what I'm doing, like, well, I
why
don't
do you
feel,
do you feel like you have to know?
no, that's
Where's
what I'm
your
saying. I'm saying in the past, it would have been very anxiety producing for me. But now it's like I can just be with it more easily. And also in a way being like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder where this is going to lead me feeling.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening, like, and then I'll find myself sort of thinking, oh, I want to go here. I got no idea why I want to go there. Got
yeah.
no idea.
But you want to go. So you go.
Off I go. And you don't know what's going to happen when you get there.
Yeah,
And it's like I don't have the feeling yet I wonder who I'm going to meet or I wonder what's going to happen here. Sometimes I get that, but I don't get that much now. It's only when I get there I find out what am I doing here? Like how did I get here?
yeah,
Feeling. It happened to me yesterday. I ended up somewhere. I got a completely new part of Sydney. I had no idea why I was there. Almost like no idea how I got there. It was. It was interesting. It was like freedom in a way.
mm, yeah. I can understand that. I just it's when I was listening to you talk about that time in your life where you felt more, you were more focused on success and being recognized and
Mm,
all of that.
mm,
I I feel that those things, those stages in our life are absolutely necessary. They're very, very important actually, because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. This is a school. This earth is a school. It's for me, it's been obvious for so many years that this is a school. When I graduated high school, and I saw everyone going off to college, I was completely perplexed about why people wanted to go sit back in a classroom to learn about things that were not really the things that we were facing in life every day. And I kept thinking to myself, how come no one's seeing it that way? I was really confused because for me, life was a school. Every single moment, from the moment I woke up until I would go to sleep, I felt like everything was a lesson constantly. So I feel like we come here to first, we need to be conditioned first. We need to be conditioned. We need to forget who we are, what we really are, what we come from. I'm talking beyond our physical body and our family and all that, what we are before we come into this body. We forget all of that. And then on top of it, from the time we're born, we start to be conditioned by the people in our environment, the environment of the country, the culture where we live, the society and everything, right? Which is part of the success, like you said, the success, wanting to be recognized for what we do. I'm going through all the emotions that you talked about also. But then comes the part where we get all the things that we thought were going to make us successful, happy, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a wall. And this happens to most people. You hit a wall. And then comes the work of unraveling and seeking, I think what you just talked about, freedom, seeking freedom. And the freedom is really, isn't it, in a way, the freedom is from the imposition of being something that you don't feel you are. I think what you're talking about going back to now would not be possible had you not gone through everything you went through before. I don't know, when you were just talking, I was thinking, no, those things were so necessary. Those things were so important. It was so important for you to reach that level of what you thought was going to give you freedom. But basically, it did the complete opposite. Did it make you feel imprisoned in a way?
Yeah.
And not
Because
yourself?
I was I don't know why it is, but it seems to be men who say they had a midlife crisis. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
and I had one of those, but when I've discussed it with AI, for instance, about midlife crisis, it's like it's made it sound very positive. Like that was like the breaking up of the shell that you had, because I think the start of my life crisis was having a big argument with God, and I'm not religious. So I had a 45-minute argument with God was like the beginning of my midlife crisis. It's funny, but it was like, yeah, it seems like you're right. You're right. But it's interesting when you talk about learning, because some, I mean, like I was walking through an affluent suburb 2 days ago, like a rich suburb in Sydney, and I just stood by the traffic lights, and we were suddenly this lady and I we had this discussion about do we walk across when it says it's the red sign to walk or not, and we're discussing that. Both of us said we wouldn't do that because we are close to a school. So we didn't want any of the kids seeing us do that. And we both did that sort of thing. I think quite a few people do that. They won't cross. They'll notice if there are children around and try and set a good example for crossing the road, that sort of thing. And then we started talking about life or something. And we were walking towards, I think, the same bus stop or something. And we walked for quite a while actually. And this woman said to me, she's quite funny. She lived around there. And she said, "Why?" She said, "It's so interesting talking to you because you're not complaining." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Most of the people around here just complain about where someone parks their car or something like this, or someone's hogging the road or the sidewalk or something."
Yeah.
And she said, like people here just complain and I was thinking it's very interesting you talked about learning because it's like I noticed I was just thinking, oh, some people never learn, some people just go through life, blaming others, complaining a lot like that. But I think it's just like it could be a timing thing
Yeah.
because some people it just depends. And I've asked this question a few times, like how come like I've asked, how come you and I like talk about life, talk about ourselves so much? How come we do that? You know,
Yeah.
and other people don't do that so much, but maybe they're handling a lot of stuff, like a lot of trauma they can't process, so they're more on the surface. I don't know, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to a point here.
Yeah.
Like some people really start to learn maybe in the weeks before they pass away or
Hmm.
reflect. And some people, like I talked to my father 25 years after he died, like through a medium, and boy, he was reflecting, So it's just
Yeah.
like maybe we're like when we think like, oh, some people never learn or some people can't reflect or things like that. Well, hang on. Maybe it's going to happen, you know, sometime in the future. We just don't know when.
Yeah. That's if we're really thinking in the three-dimensional way.
Oh
But
God.
well, it's true in a way. There's so many, like, we're
Yeah.
saying that some people don't learn, but what we're not realizing is that maybe the way that person is learning is that they're not getting the things that they really wish for, that their heart longs for. Maybe they're just not getting those things, and it's a perpetuation of their character is acting out in a certain way, and life is responding to that. So it's like this vicious cycle that they can't get out of.
Mm,
But maybe the lesson for them in this life is just that. It's just that. It's that they need to see the cause and effect
mm.
of their actions and the repercussion. And maybe their whole life will be just about that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
from our viewpoint, it's like that person's not learning, they're not changing, but that's why they're here. That's why they're in this body, in this life. That's their lesson. Their lesson is that they are perpetuating something that they cannot change. And then they will have a period of reflection when they get close to dying and then when they leave their body. And because there's this amazing man, I forget his name, but I can look it up, but he's done thousands of case studies on people in the last weeks before they
Yeah.
pass. And he
But is
said
that
it,
that doctor?
I forget his
I
name.
think I saw a video of this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he's thousands of case
Thousands,
studies.
like 3,500 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he said that if people knew how rich a person's experience is in the weeks or days or months before they pass, it is so rich because they are doing a lot of life reviewing,
Yeah.
even though they can't talk, they can't express, but inside their consciousness is working out a lot of the things that they experienced during their life. So, I would really say to anyone who is making quick judgments about other people, how they are, how they're living, what they're doing, you know, this is just another angle. This is just another angle of that. That's all.
And I think we're going to finish in a sec. So I'd just like to say it could be me that has to learn because I had this thing the other week where I met this new friend and I went for a coffee with her. And my God, I couldn't stand it. She was so negative. She was negative about the person who made the coffee. She was negative about, what was it, transsexuals, Muslims, immigrants. Like there's a whole list, like God. And I was
Yeah.
going, I wanted to walk out. I couldn't stand it. I thought to myself, why am I with someone so negative? So I don't know. I didn't say, oh, can we go? I could have made some excuse. Oh, I got to get home or something like that. But I didn't. I just sort of, I don't know. I just waited. And first of all, what I did was I gave my point of view about some things. But actually, all I was doing actually, it wasn't really my point of view, it was my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she gave her experiences with all those groups that she was negative about. And my God, she had a valid story for every single reason she was pissed off with those people. And then suddenly it was like, okay, I can sit with you now because now we've just got different angle, different stories, different experience. And I
Yeah.
had no compunction to leave. It had
Yeah.
completely gone.
Yeah.
It was a good
I
lesson
think
for
that,
me, which I keep on telling people that story.
yeah. So you, 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 because you understood her a little bit better.
Pardon?
Maybe you understood, you sought to understand her a little bit better as opposed to rejecting her. And
Yeah,
that's what happens in the
yeah.
wars. Oh, the
I'd
wars are
labeled her
happening
as
because,
negative. Yeah, I think it's because I saw that movie, Disclosure Day.
okay, I don't know what that has to do with this.
Well, at the end of it, all
Mm.
right, if you haven't seen the movie, turn off this video now. But at the end of it, it says it just encourages people to listen
Yeah,
to each other.
I think that was the most powerful part of the entire movie, actually. It was the most meaningful thing.
I
That
think
was
I think that message was sort of being sprinkled all the way through the movie, but it was hard to notice because
very hard,
because
too
her husband
chaotic.
wasn't listening to Emily
Yeah,
Blunt's character and things like that. That was the most obvious.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Well, we can do another episode or session one day talking about what we received from that film because a lot of people are
that'd be a
talking
good
about it.
one.
And
Yeah, that and the Odyssey, but that could be fun. But you got to see the
yeah,
Odyssey first.
I have to see it. I have to see it.
We don't have to see it. I'm going to
No,
see it again.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I'm going to see it again, but I want to go and see it on IMAX now. But it's booked out for the next 2 months in Sydney. You can't get a seat unless I want to sit in the front row.
Booked for 2 months.
2 months, I checked. I can't get a seat in the IMAX, and there's only
What?
there's only one IMAX in Sydney, which is crazy.
Okay.
But yeah,
And it plays
and
every day.
it's got like I think it's got 4 screenings a day, about four, and it's
What?
booked out.
And
It's
it's
booked out for
full?
yes. Do
I
we?
don't believe that. I don't
I'm going to
believe that.
send you a screenshot of this
I
of the
want to see a
booking screen.
screenshot. Show me the booking screen for 4 sessions over the course of 3 days. I don't believe that. It's not possible. No,
See what I have to put up with? God.
no, not buying it. Okay, I do have to go. So yeah, it's nice that we were able to continue on with what we started in the car on a road trip in Australia a month and a half ago already, at least.
Oh, years ago, Christ. When you were a kangaroo.
Wallaby.
Wallaby.
Uh,
Wallaby is a
okay,
small kangaroo. We got to tell people they probably don't know what a wallaby is.
it's their cousin. Okay, well, it was nice talking to you, and
It was pretty good talking to you too.
well, thank you. Okay, and we'll talk soon. We'll do this again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.